feeling Deadeye signed up to be a rebel so he could have a roost to rule. Heck, he's no better than a lord. In some ways, he's even worse.
I know. How could he use explosives on his own people?
And yet, despite the toll of his actions, none of the Danans we've seen, if anything, they may well consider him a hero, which would say a great deal toward how deeply they resented the Renans here.
Still, I don't think this is as simple as saying the good guys won out over the bad ones.
Yeah, I don't either. Deadeye might have managed to drive the Renans out of Niaz, but that doesn't make the way he did it okay. No matter which way you look at it.
A victory that's earned by throwing away the lives of his own people? No, that isn't a victory at all. I can understand that the Danans here are standing up against their oppression, but that doesn't mean they have to humiliate all Renans just to settle the score.
I'm perfectly able to stand up for myself, Alphen. Besides, I'm used to it by...
But you shouldn't have to be, Shion. That's just... What I mean to say is... When you've been a slave for so long, it's easy to accept that's how it should be because it's all you've ever known. I don't think that's fair. For me or for you.
Qué bonito.
I just don't know, man.
Don't know what?
Deadeye managed to drive out a real live Renan lord. That's incredible. And he seems to have a lot of supporters surrounding him too. But he's got an attitude worse than any angry Zoogle. Plus, Niaz is in utter ruins. I don't have a clue what his game is.
The Renans are powerful. And because of that, it takes a strong leader to have any hope of toppling them. However, when you take down one dictator only to replace them with another, ultimately it's just business as...
If it'd been Zephyr instead of Deadeye, I don't think things would have turned out like this.
Rinwell.
Yeah, I think so too. Zephyr did things differently top to bottom. He's not the kind of person... When you do that, you're ruling over others, not leading them.
To be honest, I don't know what I would have wanted my dad to do if he was in that position.
Law.
The whole thing feels weird in a way. It's a weird kind of feeling. Deadeye and my dad are two very different men. For now, I'm...
Joder, loco, más.
The city is liberated, and yet the air still hums with fear and anxiety. It reminds me all too well of how Vicente once was.
Hums? You mean like music?
Yeah, none of this sounds like music to my ears. In fact, I've never seen any Danans with musical instruments in my life.
You don't need instruments to play music. It can emerge naturally from the sounds of people going about their day and the hustle and bustle of life.
You seem to care a lot about music, Dohalim. I didn't know that about you.
Have I not mentioned it? Before I was a candidate for the lordship, I had my heart set on the life of a musician.
You? A musician?
Indeed, music enriches the world around us. I trained day and night to hone my art. Words could not describe my bliss, as my notes carried with them the sights and sounds of nature, the ebb and flow of time, and the thoughts of people on the wind.
Dohalim.
Forgive me. My loquaciousness can get the best of me at times.
Don't apologize. It's interesting hearing what Renan culture is like.
Even though the Renans destroyed all of our arts and culture.
Personally, I was interested in the music of Dana as well. The fact that generations of lords deemed music to be of no use to their slaves and outright forbade the ownership of instruments is lamentable. Not that my words can undo the damage already done.
Menos mal, ya no sale otro. Bueno, venga, ya está, vamos. Uh. Madre de amor hermoso, o sea, ¿esto qué es?
Ah, got sand in my eyes.
The winds are strong here. Mind yourselves.
Ugh, even the inside.
No, a ver este.
Oh?
Otra vez.
Hey! Sure. Well?
All right. No, really.
Sé que lo paso muy rápido, ¿vale? Pero bueno.
Yes.
What?
Ya bueno, pero no me han dado nada.
Well, that was a huge
No, no hay nada, vale.
miscalculation.
Yet you've drained your glass all the same.
Otra vez, tío, no me lo puedo creer.
The winds outside the capital are blowing as strongly as ever.
You can definitely see why people call this place the Valley of the Four Winds.
Indeed, Mahag Sar is the realm of wind, just as Ganeth Heros is for water.
Earth, water, fire, wind, light, and darkness. Rena is aligned to darkness, leaving each realm one element each.
Is that because some elements are easier to gather in certain areas?
That is certainly possible, but I suspect the biggest reason is to prevent the lords from squabbling over resources.
Funny. You would think infighting would come naturally to an elite class of...
True, but the Renans rule as a minority. Fighting ourselves would just be destructive. Though, as you saw in Menancia, any abstention from fighting is merely a facade.
In the end, you all get usurped whether you like it or not.
That may be true.
We have to catch up to the...
¿En serio, tío? ¿Otra vez? Ay, mierda, no, era aquí. Venga, ahora, formación rocosa.
What is that ring of rocks over there for? They don't look like...
Oh yeah. Funny, I guess I've gotten used to...
Most likely, they were brought over by us Renans when we first invaded the planet.
Wait, those? So does that mean there's some kind of machine then? And if so, what in the world?
To manipulate the properties of Dana's astral energy.
Really?
Think about it. Astral energy by nature isn't meant to skew towards one element or another so heavily.
So the Renans reformed it for the crown contest.
Sounds like the crazy thing a Renan would do.
Renans these days are more advanced than Danans in some ways, but even they don't seem capable of doing something on that grand a scale. Or is that something that's possible on Lenegis? Or maybe the Renan homeworld?
I can't claim to know everything about my own kind, but I myself have never seen anything that would be capable of such a drastic feat.
But at some point they did just that. Those are the sort of people we're up against. We should do our best not to forget that.
Bueno. Joder, otra vez.
You're so amazing, Kisara. You can cook, you can fix weapons. I feel like...
Maybe you should take a page out of her book and learn to make...
I'd
Toma.
be happy to teach you if you want, Rinwell. I learned most everything.
Really? Even how to sew?
Yes, indeed. He knew.
Sounds like he was a pretty handy guy when he was alive.
He was. I'd always... Now that I think about it, he and Legil were the ones who taught me how to raise cats, too.
Legil is that woman who was with him in the Gold Dust Cats, right? I remember now.
Funny you mention that. He also taught me how to maintain my hair. Not that those lessons stopped it from getting all tangled up during training.
I think it still looks gorgeous.
From what I can tell, it would appear as though the only thing he didn't manage to teach you was how to apply makeup.
Toma.
No, but that didn't stop him from trying. He really wanted to teach me everything. Only reason he couldn't was because I prioritized my training.
And here I was trying to make a joke.
I can't tell if she's being serious. The only one here who knows him well enough was her.
Yeah, I guess only Miguel could have told us if it's actually true.
Vale, venga, vamos. A ver.
Discourteous, aren't you?
Es que este ataque revienta mucho, tío.
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah, and the pummeling to me.
Let the marksman handle it.
A ver. Uy, no, este lo tengo puesto ya, vale. Golpe de rayo también lo tengo puesto. Vale. Es que, tío.
Well, we're on the home stretch now.
Don't take your eyes off the prize.
I'm quite aware without you reminding me. By the power of water. Here's radiant here.
Resonate with the you require a head.
Make it rain. By the power of water. Hear me, flame of fury.
Queda que es una puta mierda, también lo digo, ¿eh?
We can really make weapons with this?
Perfecto, vale. Una cosa. No, tío, otra vez, no, tío. Joder.
Alphen,
Pesadilla.
have you been washing your clothes? It may not be my place to say this, but frankly, they're starting to stink.
Now that you mention it, it has been a while since I did any laundry.
I'll wash them for you if you want. Just remember to give them to me the next time you get changed.
Oh, okay. Sure. Thanks, Kisara.
Se va a poner celosa.
Maw, Rinwell, yours are starting to look a bit ragged.
What do you expect? Of course they're going to tear up when we're out there fighting so much.
Yeah, but it's still kind of embarrassing having it pointed at.
And Shion?
I wouldn't touch me if I were you.
Of course. My apologies. All I wanted to say was that your sleeves are getting a little bit dirty.
You don't need to worry so much, Kisara. It's only natural our clothes are gonna get a little dirty while we're traveling around.
That's no excuse. Your outward appearance says a lot about your inner well-being.
Now you've really set her off.
Suffice to say, it would appear that the traditions of the Guard are still alive and well within her.
What do you mean? What do the guardsmen do that's so special?
Mostly, I'm simply referring to the fact that they're a very regimented and cleanly group of people.
Do I really sound that weird to you guys? Keeping your clothes clean and mended is completely normal.
Don't get us wrong. We appreciate the thought, Kisara. But we've got a long journey ahead. It wouldn't hurt to...
If you're sure. I wasn't trying to overdo it, I promise. However, if it's making the rest of you tense, I'll do my best to... Still, if everyone could bring their laundry and clothes they want fixed, that'd be great.
Don't you ever get tired?
Ahí estás, vale.
Somehow, things are even worse outside the city than they are inside.
Yeah, it's all ruined. Houses and everything else.
Even if it was all in the name of beating the Renans, this is...
Venga, vamos a ver qué hay por aquí. Y ya está. A ver.
I think Hoodle senses something.
Ahí va.
Why didn't the Renans
Bueno, vamos a dejar aquí, chicos. Un besito.